Hi guys, it's me Monster from My Own Cookies. Now today I am introducing to you a new pet of mine. This is known as a pacman frog. This is only a baby one. They get a lot more larger than this, but for now I am just keeping it in a normal geo box feeding tub, which is ideal for this size. And usually they are kept, well, they are fed every other day. Pacman frogs typically just sit there mainly. They are ambush insectivores, and well, I wouldn't say they're an insectivore because there are instances where they have been known to eat small pink mice, but I personally would not venture towards that, as there are health problems for the animal. Now, today I'm going to discuss about the care. Well, some of the care, so this may be a part 1 of 2. I've already taken out the water dish. That's just placed right here. This substance you see here is actually called moss. Sorry, called moss. And what that is it's you can use it to rehydrate not rehydrate, you can rehydrate the stuff yourself using water. However, for frogs, I wouldn't do that because they require a special type of water known as RO, or water that has been dechlorinated with a dechlorinator. I have a dechlorinator, but I can't really show it to you because it has a logo on it, and that would be advertising, which I'm not doing. The substrate I have actually used is actually block substrate. Now I'm showing this to you because this one has not got a brand on it. It did originally, but I lost the tip of it where the actual brand would be on the bag. So what I've done is, ordinarily you would have to place the substrate into a water bucket just so it can expand to a certain degree, and what you then have to do then is transfer it into the tank like I've done here, as you can see. But with me, because I didn't have the frog with me at the time, I put the water in, that's RO water, as you see here. I emptied a plastic water bottle out and filled RO water in it at my voluntary place. I volunteer at a pet shop. One day a week, so yeah, I done that. And that's just basically pure clean water, free from any bacteria and other stuff. Now frogs, or this particular type anyway, have to be fed every other day. Now this little guy here was actually fed on, or has actually been fed on, when I bought him from the pet shop, he was fed on normal size crickets, medium to large crickets, and large locusts. Now he also was on Max Worms, but because I didn't want to chance anything when I bought him, I decided to go to Wax Worms, and then pretty much go from there. They typically are ambush predators, so they'll just sit there and then sit in a certain part of the enclosure, like a little den or hole. And what that means is they'll wait for the prey to come along, and then they'll have it. They'll stick the tongue out, take a chunk out of it with the chompers. They have teeth, so these are actually have been known to eat small mice. However, I wouldn't really do something like that because there are a few health issues that will come with that, such as obesity, and they will excessively grow, and that will shorten the lifespan. The spraying of the enclosure is something that people need to take note of. You need to spray the wall. You need to spray the walls of the enclosure with RO water or the chlorinated water. I would also spray the substrate as well, just a little bit, and the moss. Not excessively, but to a reasonable extent. And a little bit on the animal as well. Because frogs are amphibious, so they require moisture in order to survive. Oh yeah, and I've never really said his actual name that I've given him, even though I don't know it's a him or a her. When it's old enough to be sexed, if it's a girl, I'll call it Miss Pacman. If it's a boy, just Pacman. I know it's the name of the species, but it's a cool, interesting name, I find, for an amphibian. Looks not unlike a Pac-Man to me because of the colour, but if you look at the head, sort of similar, but that's just my opinion, so everyone's got their own different opinion. I'm going to place my camera right here so you can see me about to feed him. Sorry, not here. Right here. And like that, he's taking it. Now, normally I would just give him 2. I already gave him 1, but I'm going to see if he will take another one, and if he does, then I will give him 1 less next time he should be fed. Which will be Monday. These are absolutely amazing animals, and this animal was definitely worth the money. Definitely worth saving up for. There's more personality to it than what people think. People think that frogs are difficult to keep, but it's really not. If you just keep up with the with the care plan, same as you would do any of your animals that you have. If you're interested in your animals that much, you will research them, you will find out about them, I personally wouldn't go on Google for my research. I would just go to your local pet shop or pick up a book, any book on amphibians. The personal recommendation I would have for the spraying, I may have said it before in the video, I may not. RO water to be sprayed around the enclosure, on the substrate, on the moss, a little bit on the frog. However, you have to watch with the heat mat with wherever the animal is, because if you put the heat mat here or anywhere and it's chosen there as its hidey hole, you will have to keep the heat mat half on, half off the animal's enclosure, just so the animal does not get injured or die from its injuries, which would be a burn. They also require a weekly clean out, but it's a spot clean, because these animals, when they find one particular hidey hole, they will just basically sit there and they will go to the toilet there. So just a simple move of the animal, clean it out, and not even the entire tank, just little bits where it is now. See, if he stays here, I will have to clean out right under him next week. However, I need to show to you guys that I am going to put his water dish in the center of the enclosure. I have cleaned this out with RO water. These little guys like it when it's like a swamp. Yes, I have actually overflown that, but with it being with this animal being an amphibian, even if the water gets a little bit over the top, it won't really matter that much. But you still have to make sure the humidity is not exactly too high or too low. I'm spraying the enclosure as well as the substrate, but not really spraying, more or less just pouring. Taking a dip in your little pool there, are you? Going for a nice little swim. Well, sit. A nice little sit. But these are absolutely beautiful animals. If you are thinking about getting one, I highly recommend pacman frogs as a beginner. I have kept a couple of frogs when I was younger, then I moved straight to reptiles, and then arachnids, then back to amphibians. Still love my reptiles, they're still part of my interest, and I may well do a video on them again at some point. But amphibians, they're a new part of my exotic interest. I sold all my spiders. Sold all my arachnids, and used the money to fund towards this, and I've still got some of it left. It's not actual money, it's more of a voucher. However, if that voucher can get me another frog or more stuff for him to enjoy in his enclosure, just as the substrate, not enrichment, because that would take up too much of the enclosure space, then it'll be worth it. I haven't had this guy that long, and just instantaneously you can easily get drawn in by the way they look and the way they act. There is a little bit more personality to them than what people think. Same with any animal. But yeah, if you take care of them as best as you can, they will live for a good few years. It all depends on the care. If you give them the best care that you can, then they will live for quite a while. Which an animal's lifespan can actually vary depending on the care, as what most people know. Some have actually lived past their life expectancy. Paying attention to my ornament in the background. I got told in a pet shop I didn't have to buy the water dish, but with me, I tend to like to get into the mind of the animal to understand it. And if you're into your animals, you'll understand why. If you're not, you won't always understand. But anyway, another thing I must mention, if you are going to handle a frog or any amphibian that is a pet of yours, you need to keep your hands moist, because they will suffocate dehydrate easily, because your skin will be soaking in all the moisture. So a quick rinse of RO water on your hands and you will be fine to handle them. However, personally, they don't need to be handled unless it's just for simple taking them out the enclosure, putting them somewhere temporary. Then that'd be different. But as this guy's only tiny, I only have to just basically move him out the way and then clean him. Clean this enclosure out.